My First Bible presents the story of Samson. Once more, the Israelites did wrong before God's eyes. They worshipped false gods from other religions. As a consequence, come in. Oh, thanks! They fell under the oppression and dominion of the Philistines for 40 years. The Philistines were aggressive with the Israelites. They lived in the southwest of Israel, between the Mediterranean Sea and the Jordan River. Even though the Israelites abandoned God, He had a plan to free them. A man named Manoah from the Dan tribe had a wife who could not conceive children since she was sterile. One day, the angel of the Lord appeared before her and told her, "You have no children because you are sterile, but soon you will give birth to a child. So be careful. Do not drink wine nor cider, and avoid eating impure food, because this baby will be special. His hair should not be cut, since he will be a Nazirite." Nazirite? Nazirite, which means he will be consecrated to God. He will be consecrated before his birth. He will have an important mission. He will begin rescuing Israel from the power of the Philistines. The woman, surprised, ran to her husband and told him, "You would not believe what happened. A man came to where I was. According to his looks, he seemed to be an angel of God. I did not ask him where he came from, nor did he tell me his name, but he told me I would give birth to a son. I should not have wine, cider, or impure food, because this baby will be a Nazirite."
Nazirite?
Nazirite, which means he will be consecrated to God. This baby will be Nazirite from before his birth to the day of his death. Oh, and he told me that his hair must never be cut. Manoah, while listening to all of this, prayed to God.
"O Lord, I beg you to allow that man of God to return that you have sent us, to teach us how to raise the child that will be born."
God heard Manoah's prayer, and God's angel appeared again before the woman while she was in the countryside. When she saw her, she ran to let Manoah know. "He is here," she told him. "The man from the other day is here." Quickly, Manoah stood up and followed his wife where the Lord's angel was. When he got there, he told him,
"Are you the man who has spoken to my wife?"
"Yes, it's me," he replied.
"I beg you to tell us what it is that we shall do with this baby that my wife and I will have. How should we raise him? How should he behave?"
The angel of the Lord replied, "Your wife must follow everything I have told her. Not eating anything impure, not drinking wine or any other fermented drink, and never cut his hair off, since he will be Nazirite. It will not be necessary. He will be always devoted to God. In summary, you must obey everything I told you." Manoah and his wife were happy with the news and told the angel,
"Stay a bit longer. We would like you to stay until we prepare a goat for you to eat."
"Even if I stay, I will not have your food. But if you want, prepare the goat like a holocaust and offer it to Jehovah." Manoah hadn't noticed yet that the man was the Lord's angel. So he asked him,
"What is your name? So when your words are a fact, we can honor you."
"Why do you ask my name, which is admirable?" the angel replied. So Manoah went to prepare a goat to offer it as a holocaust for the Lord and put it on a rock. Meanwhile, Manoah and his wife observed the fire. The angel of the Lord made a miracle before their eyes. He ascended over the flames of the Holocaust. And then he disappeared.
My gosh.
When seeing that, amazed, they looked down to the floor. At that moment, Manoah realized that the man was God's angel.
Oh my God, we will die,
He told his wife.
since we have seen God.
I don't think we will die. If the Lord would have wanted to kill us, he would not have accepted the Holocaust or told us everything he did tell us.
That is true. You are right.
God's angel never showed up again. And like that, after some time, the woman gave birth to a child. God blessed him, and God's Spirit started to manifest in him while he grew up in the land of Dan's tribe. This child, destined to a very important mission, was named Samson. Sometime later, the prophecy of the angel of the Lord was fulfilled. Samson was a man now, and he had never cut his hair off. The Lord blessed him with a unique strength that exceeded every man. One day, Samson was in a Philistine land named Timnath, where he saw a Philistine woman, of whom he fell in love with, and he wanted to marry her immediately. So he went back to his parents and told them,
I have seen the woman I want to marry with,
and I want you to come with me to ask her to marry me. Will you get married? I am so happy. Where is she from?
Tell us.
What tribe is she from?
What's the name of her parents? Well, she doesn't belong to any tribe. She is from Timnath. She is Philistine.
Philistine?
But Samson, isn't there an appropriate woman for you among the Israelites, so that you must go searching among those uncircumcised Philistines?
She is the one I like. My gaze found her, and I want her to be my wife. So please, come with me, so we can talk with her parents. Samson's parents didn't know this was coming from Jehovah, who was looking for a chance to fight the Philistines, since they were the ones dominating Israel at that time. They accepted and started the journey to Timnath. At some point during the trip, Samson was alone near a vineyard of Timnath. There, he heard roars. And when he realized, he saw a lion coming towards him to attack him. The Spirit of the Lord came towards Samson. He caught the lion and tore him apart as if he were a little kid and with his bare hands. Then he left that place and went back to his parents, but he didn't tell them what happened with the lion. When they got to Timnath, they talked to the woman Samson liked, and they started the plans to make the wedding come true. They then went back home, but they would soon return to celebrate the wedding. Sometime later, when the wedding day came, they went back to Timnath. Samson, during the journey, left the path again and passed through the same place where he had killed the lion some time ago because he wanted to look at the corpse. When he was getting there, he discovered a swarm of bees. They have made honey inside the lion's corpse. He took some honey with his own hands and ate while he continued his path. When he reunited with his parents, he offered them honey, and they ate, but he didn't tell them where he got the honey from. At the wedding, which lasted 7 days, they prepared a great feast and selected 30 Philistines to go with Samson during the wedding.
I have a riddle for you.
Samson told them.
If you guess before the 7 days the feast lasts, I will give you 30 dresses of linen and 30 party dresses. But if you don't guess, you will give me the 30 linen dresses and the 30 party dresses, okay?
Okay, perfect. Tell us your riddle, they answered.
Then Samson said, "From the one who eats, food came, and from the strong one, tenderness arose. What am I?"
None of them knew the answer.
Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah.
The days went by and no one could solve the riddle. So, these men approached Samson's wife and told
blah,
her,
blah, blah, blah.
You have to convince your husband to tell you the answer to the riddle and tell it to us. Or, if not, we will burn you and your father's house.
"Have you invited us to rob us?" The wife, instead of telling Samson about this threat, sought the way to obtain the answer. So she went to him crying. "I thought you loved me. You abhor me. I don't know why I am marrying you. My mother was right."
But woman, what's wrong with you? Of course I love you.
"No, you don't love me. You hate me. If you loved me, you'd tell me the answer to the riddle you gave my people."
No way, woman. I haven't even told it to my mother or father. Why would I give it to you?
And like that, during the 7 days the feast lasted, she insisted and cried. Until at last, the 7th day, tired of listening to her weeping, Samson told her the answer. "Thank you." And she quickly revealed the answer to her people. That same day, during the evening, the men went to Samson and told him,
Blah, blah, blah.
What's sweeter than honey? And what's stronger than a lion?
Samson, knowing his wife was on the Philistines' side, got really mad and said,
If it wasn't for my girlfriend, you wouldn't know the answer.
and left. He went towards the Ashkelon, where he killed 30 Philistines. He deprived them from their clothing and gave it to those who had solved the riddle.
Blah, blah.
Then, furious, he went back to his parents' house. What now? So, Samson's wife went with one of the best men of the wedding because they had to finish the ceremony. Time went by, and during the wheat harvest, Samson, now calmed, offered his wife a kid as a gift, and he went to visit her.
Blah, blah. Blah, blah.
I'm going to my wife's room,
He said. But her father didn't allow him to go in.
I have realized you abhorred my daughter, and I was sure you hated her. And that's why I turned her to one of your best men for her to marry him. And then Samson started to get mad, and the father said, But, there's my younger daughter. Isn't she even prettier? Marry her instead of my eldest.
Samson, even more angry, answered,
Okay, that's it. No one can blame me for the things I do to the Philistines.
What?
So he went and hunted 300 foxes. He tied them up in pairs, tail with tail, and tied each pair to a torch. Then he lit the torches and set the foxes free to run through the Philistines' plantations. He burned down their wheat, vineyards, and everything they had harvested. The Philistines asked,
Who did this?
"It was Samson," she told him, "the son-in-law of the Timnite. because he took his wife and gave it to another man. So the angry Philistines captured and burned the woman that was supposed to be Samson's wife and her father. When Samson found out about this, he told the Philistines,
I swear I will take revenge for what you have done, and I won't rest until I've achieved it.
and so he attacked them with all his rage. Then he went to live in a cave by himself in Itam. Later, the Philistines went up and camped in Judah. Judah's men asked,
What are you doing here?
"We are here to take Samson as our prisoner," they replied, "to pay him with his own poison to avenge our people."
Blah, 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 blah.
Quickly, 3,000 men of Judah descended to the cave where Samson was and told him, "What have you done with the Philistines? Don't you realize they govern us?"
I did to them what they have done to me,
he replied. "The Philistines are waiting for you, and they have declared war because of you."
We are here to tie you up and take you to them. Okay. Just promise me you won't kill me with your bare hands,
Samson told them. "All right, we won't kill you. We will tie you up and take you to the Philistines." So they tied him up with 2 new ropes and took him to the Philistines. All of them shouted triumphantly for having captured Samson. "Gentlemen, let me introduce you to Samson, the strongest man in the world, and we have him now!" While the Philistines were celebrating, the Lord's Spirit came to Samson, and the ropes on his arms became a thread burnt with fire. "Finally, Samson's days are over. Who is laughing now, Samson?" Finding a jawbone of a donkey, he took it as a weapon. "Do not worry, it is just a donkey jawbone." He attacked them and killed the 1,000 Philistine men. So Samson said,
With just the donkey jawbone, I got to kill thousands of men. With a donkey jawbone, I killed an army of thousands.
Then he dropped the jawbone and named that place Ramat Lehi, which means Jawbone Hill. After fighting so many men, Samson was thirsty and really tired, so he claimed Jehovah.
Lord, you have given your follower this great victory. Now will I die like this? Thirsty? Please, give me water.
And then God opened the watershed that was there, and the water started flowing, so he drank and recovered his strength and energy. After this great achievement, Samson was the new judge of Israel, and he ruled for 20 years. One night, Samson arrived at a Philistine city named Gaza and decided to spend the night there. When the citizens saw him, they surrounded the place, and they locked the big doors of the city. During the night, they remained silent, watching the door, and they said, "We'll stay here and wait for the morning to kill Samson."
Hey.
But Samson got up at midnight. When he realized the doors of the city were closed, he ripped it off, carried it on his shoulder as if it weighed nothing, and took it to the top of the mountain, which was in front of Hebron. After some time, Samson was completely in love with a Philistine woman from the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. The governors of the Philistines knew Samson liked her, and they knew that was a chance to capture him. So they went to Delilah and told her, "Seduce Samson to tell you the secret of his extreme strength, so we can know how to defeat him, and we can tie him up and have him captive." "And what will I get from doing that?" Delilah asked.
Each one of us will give you 1,100 shekels of silver coins.
Okay, I'll do it. When Delilah spent time with Samson, she was always trying to understand what was the secret of his strength. So she asked him, "Samson, do you love me?"
Yes, I love you, Delilah.
"If you love me, you'll tell me anything. There shouldn't be any secrets between us."
Of course, there shouldn't be any.
"So tell me the secret to your infinite strength. What makes you so strong? And how can you be tied safely?"
Well, I'll tell you. If they tie me up with 7 ropes of green wicker that isn't dry, I will lose my strength, and I will be just like any other man. Some of the Philistines who were lurking gave the 7 green osiers to Delilah. She tied Samson, and then she yelled,
"Samson, the Philistines are coming for you to attack you!"
Quickly, Samson got up and broke the ropes with no effort. Delilah told him,
"You lied to me! You were mocking me, lying to my face! So come on, tell me, how can you be tied safely?"
Delilah insisted and kept insisting. So Samson said, "It's fine, I'll tell you. If they tie me with strong ropes that haven't been used, I will get weak and become a regular man." While some Philistines were accepting the scene in the room, Delilah took some ropes, tied Samson up, and then shouted,
"Samson, the Philistines are coming for you!"
So Samson stood up and broke the ropes as if they were just threads.
"You see, you don't love me! You're a liar!"
And like that, the following days, Delilah kept insisting and insisting and insisting. On, I'll tell you. If you weave my 7 braids of my hair with a loom and secure it with a stake, then I will get weak and become a regular man. So, while Samson was sleeping, she took his braids in the loom and crossed it with a stake. Then she shouted,
"Samson, the Philistines are coming for you to attack you!"
Samson woke up, tore off the loom, and removed the stake without any problem. "Where are they? Where are they?"
"How can you say you love me if you don't trust me? You have lied to me 3 times and you won't tell me your secrets!"
And like that, Delilah would ask him to tell her his secret every day, and she kept insisting. This made Samson so mad that he was almost sick of listening to her. "Okay, stop it! I will tell you." Finally, Samson told her his secret. The secret to my strength is my hair.
"Really?"
Yes, my hair has never been cut off, he explained to her, because I am a Nazirite and I'm devoted to God before my birth. If I got my head shaved, I'd lose my strength and I would be as weak as any other man on earth. When Delilah realized he had told her the truth this time,
She called the Philistine governors,
Blah, blah, blah.
told them Samson's secret,
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, 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 blah.
and the Philistines gave her the money they had offered her. Then Delilah made Samson fall asleep on her knees. And while he was sleeping, she called a man to cut his 7 braids off of Samson's hair. Samson! He got his hair cut, so his strength left his body. Then she shouted, "Samson, the Philistines are coming for you!" Samson woke up and thought, "I will get free from them like the last times, and will get them off of me." But he didn't know God had abandoned him. What's wrong with me? Why am I feeling so weak? And then he realized he had lost his strength.
Blah, blah, blah.
The Philistines captured him,
blah, blah.
ripped his eyes off his face, and took him to a prison in Gaza, where he was secured by bronze chains. His job was to mill grains in prison. This wasn't the plan God had for Samson. He was supposed to free the people of Israel from the Philistines. But when he gave up to the seduction of his desires, he kept getting away from God's plan. Time went by, and Samson's hair started to grow up again. One day, the Philistine governors reunited in their temple and threw a great party to offer a sacrifice to their god, Dagon. They prayed,
Our god Dagon has given us Samson, our biggest enemy.
all the Philistines praised their god. When they were really happy, they said, "Let's go get Samson so he can make us laugh and we can make fun of him." So they took Samson out of prison and they all began laughing. They made him stand up between the columns, and Samson told the young man who was holding him by his hand, "Please, let me stay where I can touch the columns that hold the temple, so that I can lean on them."
Blah, blah.
At that moment, the temple was full of Philistine men and women, and every Philistine governor was there. In the upside, there were more than 3,000 men who were making fun of Samson. So Samson prayed to his God. "Oh, dear God of Jehovah, please don't forget me. I beg you to give me the strength I need just one more time so I can take vengeance from the Philistines for taking my eyes off me."
Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah.
God answered Samson's prayers.
Oh no.
He then touched the columns that were holding the temple, and pushing them with both hands, he shouted with every bone in his body, "I shall die together with the Philistines!" And the temple came down on the governors and on every person who was there. Samson also died right there. Many more people died right there in his death than the people that died during his life. His Israelite brothers took his body, and he was buried in Zorah and Eshtaol, next to the tomb of his father, Manoah. After Samson, the new Israelites were not near God, which caused great chaos among them. They gave up on idolatry. There was violence among them, abuse, and lack of justice. And all of this because, in those days, there was no king in Israel. Each one did what it pleased. subscribe, comment, like, and follow us on our social media. Hey! We will greet our friends who have commented on our post. If you want a greeting in the next video, follow us and comment on the latest posts on our networks, Instagram and YouTube. The next greetings go to Super Awesome Bros 364, Glenda Thomas, Seth Garza, Verdika Solomon, Bad Busacia 876, Caleb from Lawrence, Benjamin, Evan, and Abigail from Tulsa, Oklahoma, Hazel Kisakai, user FF9TY4JG2S, Preely from Indonesia, from Elyria, Ohio, Mildred Liriano from New York, USA, Jade UU.EE, Isabella Lee from Miami, Florida, The Ultimate Force 1234. Thank you very much for all your great support!